Hello, welcome to the final whistle. I'm Kenzie Benali.
And I'm Steve Forbes.
It finishes 1 apiece at Molineux, and here to dissect that performance with us are our guests Dean Hammond and Adam Leitch. We're going to dive straight in because there is a lot to talk about. Adam, you did predict it was going to be 1-1. Well done for getting that spot on. We knew it was going to be a tough test tonight, but what did you make of that performance?
Yeah, well, firstly, thanks for pointing out the correct prediction. I was obviously would have preferred a Saints win, but I'll take it. Well, I mean, it's on reflection, I think it was probably a fair result on the balance of the game overall. But that said, there is a slight tinge of disappointment in that you kind of feel like Saints could have put it to bed before Wolves had their spell where the kind of they were well on top, they equalised and looked the more likely team at that point to go on and win. But had Saints perhaps capitalised a bit more on both their possession and the few chances they created, then the game might have been all over before Wolves had a chance to kind of really establish themselves as they did in kind of the last quarter of the match. So yeah, a little frustrating, but also I guess I would say, to keep it in some perspective, it's a real sign of progress that you're going to a place like Wolves playing a really good team, and they are a really good team, even without Connor Cody and with their formation change at the back. They were still good, and to come away being disappointed at only drawing is a real sign of kind of where Saints are at the moment and where their mentality is. And to be honest, that's a positive thing. And ultimately, you're not going to win every game. If you can't win them, then at least make sure you come away with something, especially away from home. So a little frustrating, but still a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. A good point on the road. And we've just seen the table there, and our position in the league hasn't changed. We are still sitting in 5th. Dean, as Adam just said, it's still a good result, a point against a tough Wolves side.
I think, I totally agree. It's a very good point to start with. To go to Wolves, they're a very good team. We mentioned before the show, they play a certain way, very organised, good structure, and had some good chances tonight. They played on the front foot. They played with energy, similar to Southampton. Southampton had a lot of possession tonight, and I enjoyed watching them passing the ball out. They moved it very, very well, especially under pressure because Wolves pressed them and created a few opportunities themselves. McCarthy had a very, very good game, made some vital saves. I think I agree with it, Adam. It was a fair result and a good point coming towards the end of the game because Wolves finished so strong. But at 1-0, with a few opportunities, with maybe that extra little bit of quality or that final pass that didn't quite happen, then could have got that second goal and maybe put the game to bed. But, this happens in football. It's a good point away from home, following on from the excellent performances in the past. So 5th in the table, can't really complain. But yeah, a little bit of frustration because there could have been an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, well, one of the highlights of the match was Theo Walcott grabbing his first goal for Southampton since 2006. But Adam, it very much seemed to be owed to the perseverance of the players around him.
Yeah, it was, particularly Che Adams, really. I mean, it was a nice ball in it was a nice build up and then a nice ball into Adams from Gineppo. But I thought Che Adams had a really good game tonight. I thought he was excellent. And having spoken before the game about the responsibility on his shoulders and leading the line, I think he really did that today. And he showed a lot of all-round ability as well. I mean, you think of the Walcott goal and then the great Walcott chance. I mean, they were both created really by him. With the goal, he's obviously gone to side foot, I think, back to Stuart Armstrong in the first instance, and it's come straight back off the defender. And I'm not sure when I looked at the replay from the other angle that he necessarily knew where Walcott was, but he had the presence of mind to know where he was and what the most dangerous ball that he could put in the box would be, which would be that kind of fiercely hit low cut back through the 6-yard box, and then you hope that somebody's on the end of it. And Walcott was there. Some poor defending from Wolves there, really. That Walcott was kind of stood on his own, but no complaints for Saints. But yeah, I think Che Adams. I mean, he obviously didn't get a goal, but I think his all-round performance was excellent tonight, and really did deliver for Theo in that partnership.
Dean, Adam just alluded to the fact that Walcott could have made it 2. What a chance that was.
It really was, and a vital part of the game as well. It was a fantastic pass by Shea into Theo, made a really, really good intelligent run, positive running behind, had lots and lots of time. And I think that may have been the issue with Theo. He had too much time. He had an excellent touch. He was in a good position. But we mentioned before the show, I think Theo plays off more. He's an instinctive player. And you mentioned before, what was the difference between Theo and Danny? And I think that is the slight difference. You know, if Danny had been in that position, we've seen in the past, he's very composed. He takes his time, and he's a finisher. But look, strikers are going to miss opportunities. And if the game had been 1-1-0, we probably wouldn't even have mentioned it. But just because Southampton drew the game 1-1, it's a major factor now. But an excellent move, and just going on their partnerships. You know, Shea set up the first goal for Theo, and then give Theo a second opportunity with a brilliant pass. So I think if Theo looks back at it, he'll be disappointed. He's one-on-one with the keeper with lots of time to finish in the far corner. Just doesn't quite get the connection he wants and kind of drags it wide. So a brilliant opportunity to go 2-0 up. And I think if he'd scored that, we would have won the game. But he has got his first goal for Southampton today, so you've got to look at the positives on that. He's playing well. When you move to the left wing, you've done an excellent job on Traore and kept him a little bit more quiet. So, you know, positives from his performance, and he got a goal. So I think he'll be disappointed that he missed the opportunity, but I think he had a good game as well.
No, well, the Wolves equaliser came in the second half after what felt like a barrage of chances. Adam, what went wrong from Saints' point of view there?
Well, I think it's probably a few things really. One, I think maybe mentally, the fact that Wolves had a really strong spell in the game, but Saints hadn't put them away. I think Wolves probably knew as the game wore on, if it stayed 1-0, that they probably would come into it a bit more and get some more chances, and that's kind of how it went. I also felt, I don't want to sound like I'm really critical of Ralph here, but I also felt maybe Gineppo looked to me like he was tiring quite a bit, and maybe I would have, perhaps it would have been sensible to have taken him off a little bit earlier and closed up a little bit more, got a bit more energy into the team up there. But really, these are minor things. I would say more that Wolves are a good team, to be fair, and they've got good players, and they're going to have a spell in the game. You know, it's almost impossible to go to their ground and kind of keep them under the cosh continually. But the point is that when you've got the domination of the ball, when you're creating the chances, you have to make sure that you capitalise on that. And Saints just didn't quite manage it, and that always left them vulnerable, that if Wolves had a spell in the game, then they might well score. And Wolves had a bit of quality as well, being able to bring Neto off the bench. He's a young lad, but he's a big player, big price tag to be able to bring in a situation like that. And he really did make quite a big impact for them. It just improved the quality all round of their attack, and really that was enough. So I mean, slim margins really. I wouldn't be overly critical of any of the players or Ralph in particular. It was just probably a lot of small things, but again, I think it mainly came back to the fact the Saints simply didn't capitalise fully enough when they were on top, and in the end, it just came back to bite them somewhat.
Yeah, perhaps didn't capitalise fully, but kind of mentioning what we've been saying throughout the show, the fans seem to be pretty pleased with that point. It was always going to be a tough game, and David said here that we always seem to have trouble shaking off those international cobwebs, but he's still pleased with that point this evening. Shay Reid on YouTube has left us a comment saying, a point against a solid Wolves team is very good, especially away at Molineux. Eric, hello to you. He says, good point and a strong performance from the boys. Massive game from McCarthy. And we move on to next week against United up this Saints. Callum, hello. He's on Facebook. He's ecstatic with that away point, and he said could have got nothing. So he's feeling positive this evening. Jojo's left us a comment saying we could have probably won the game if Walcott made the second goal, but it was a fair game overall. And Dan has said McCarthy was great tonight. Well done, Alex. Loads of love coming in for McCarthy, actually. He put in some great stops tonight, didn't he?
He did indeed. We'll get on to his saves in just a sec. But Dean, Armstrong had a chance in the first half. That would have been some goal, wouldn't it have been?
Yeah, it would have been a fantastic goal. I mean, it started with Vestergaard playing a 1-2 with a central midfielder and breaking out from the back four. And then there was some good combinations, patient in possession. Ramiro played a fantastic ball into Shea Adams, who played it round the corner into Armstrong's run, and a stretch to try and finish would have been a fantastic goal. And that was kind of the story of the first half, really. Southampton had some really good possession, really good movement off the ball, especially under pressure. I was really impressed with the players, the way they handled the ball under pressure, because Wolves pressed them in certain areas. They moved the ball, they protected the ball, combinations, switches of play, playing in the middle of the pitch to find a little bit of space to thread the ball through. So it would have been a fantastic goal, and I think a contender for the goal of the season if Armstrong could have put that away, but he was stretching. He got a good connection on it, but just dragged it wide. But no, brilliant play from Southampton. I think the manager's mentioned that in the last few weeks. He feels as though the players have really improved their possession stats, the way they've moved the ball. And I think that's why they've been such a consistent team, because they've had more of the ball lately, creating more opportunities. So it'd have been lovely to see that go in, and it would have been a great goal, but a really, really, really good move by the team.
Yeah, that would have been unbelievable, wouldn't it? Now, Adam, we've just mentioned loads of the comments coming in on social media are showing love for Alex McCarthy, understandably so. He put in some huge stops tonight. Carl's left us a comment saying a very good point. McCarthy was glorious. He did come to the rescue several times, didn't he? But did we allow Wolves too many chances?
Oh, well, I guess maybe, but then Wolves are a good team, and it's hard to just keep them out, go to their place, and just keep them out non-stop. I think I would completely agree with the fan comments. I thought McCarthy was excellent again, and in fairness, I mean, he can't, continuing this form he's in at the moment, he surely can't continue to be overlooked in the England goalkeeping pecking order for too much longer, given obviously England's sort of search for goalkeepers a lot of the time at the moment. He's right up there. He's in great form, and he made some good saves. One or two you'd have expected him to make, and one or two were genuinely excellent. I think of the one in the first half. He obviously made the double save. The first one where you'd expect him to make. The second one where he got up and made the quick save from Dendoncker with the ball off his shoulder was excellent. To get up and react that quickly was superb. And there were a couple of other good ones as well throughout the game. But in terms of Wolves' chances, I think coming into this game, you'd have expected, with the quality that both teams possess, that both teams would create a few chances. And I think that's just the way the game goes. And then it just depends on how clinical you are, how decisive you are, whether you get a little bit of luck or anything like that. But as I said, in the end, I think two decent teams. And as we said before the game, I think these are two teams that are good sides. They're well organised. They know how they're playing. They have a plan. They're confident at executing that plan. And they are going to be up in the mix in the top half of the table at the end of the season. So for those two teams to come away drawing, I actually think no matter what, both teams and both managers will deep down be relatively content to get out of this game with something on the board to show for it. So maybe Wolves had one too many chances, maybe, but I think it's just that's kind of standard when you're playing a team of that quality.
Yeah, well, McCarthy definitely was one of the standout players today. But Dean, what did you make of the overall defensive display from Southampton?
Well, I agree with what Adam said there. Wolves had a few chances, but they weren't clear-cut chances. They didn't really slice Southampton open with clinical passes. They were more long-range shots or crosses or headers from set pieces. So I think Southampton defended pretty well, if I'm honest. You've got defenders in the team to defend. During spells in the game, they're going to have to make blocks. They're going to have to make tackles. The goalkeeper's there to make saves. He made some really, really good saves tonight, especially as the away team. But no, Southampton had comfortable possession. And when they did lose possession or there was a turnover play, they recovered really well as a team. They looked really fit and strong and got into a good shape. So defensively, I think they were pretty sound. There wasn't any major worries, just more long-range shots, really, and McCarthy made some excellent saves, and he's been in fine form. So, no, defensively sound as a team, pressed the ball pretty well, regained possession in the middle of the pitch and broke on occasions. So, yeah, pretty solid. But, yeah, the goalkeeper's there to make saves, and he made some excellent saves today, and rightly so, we'll get the plaudits and we'll probably get man of the match.
Yeah, well, lots of people calling him to be man of the match on social media. Lots of people also echoing the thoughts of Dean and Adam on social media. People saying happy with the point away to Wolves. That comment there is from Kev. Stephen also says it's a good point. Had Theo put that one away, we would have gone 2-0 up. It would have been game over. But overall, good performance. And he's another man saying McCarthy was outstanding and deserves to be man of the match. But that is 7 games unbeaten now. That's a phenomenal start to the season. Adam, pretty pleased with that, really.
Yep, extremely pleased. A terrific start to the season, really. I don't know what more you could have asked for, to be honest. I mean, it's that good, and it's obviously the results are what everybody cares about, really, and that's what really matters, and that's what lifts the mood and the spirits, etc. But actually, also, I think just the enjoyment of watching Saints this season, the brand of football that they're playing under Hasenhüttl, it's very enjoyable to watch. Well, I'm personally enjoying it a lot. I love watching teams, and I love watching the Saints teams that I've enjoyed watching down the years have been those that have gone out and not been afraid to impose themselves on the opposition. They have their game plan, and they go out confident that if they can execute it, then they'll either win or they'll give somebody a really, really good run for their money. And they don't worry too much about all the detail of what the opposition are going to do. They don't try and adapt everything they do just to neutralise the strengths of the opposition. And I think that's what Ralph's kind of delivering now. He's got the team in that mindset. The actual style they play, the formation they play, the fluidity of it, it's very, very enjoyable to watch from a Saints point of view. So while the results have been great, and I appreciate that's obviously very important, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day, actually, just especially when you're not at the ground and you're kind of watching on TV all the time, to watch a team and a Saints team that are just genuinely entertaining and enjoyable to watch, I think is very satisfying, and it's certainly something that I'm really enjoying this season.
Yeah, well, we said we're happy to leave Molineux with a point. Good performances, but it is going to be a busy, festive period. We're coming into that time of the year. As Kenzie said, 7 games unbeaten, and we're still sitting 5th in the Premier League. Dean, can we really be expecting much more?
No, not at all. I don't. The expectation will obviously change because of how well the team are playing and the results they're getting. And like Adam said there, the manner they're getting the results, they're blowing teams away with the style they're playing in, scoring lots of goals, creating lots of opportunities. So as a fan, as a former player of the club, you can't expect any more. The club are 5th in the Premier League, 7 games unbeaten, playing brilliant football. It's amazing for everyone to watch. The icing on the cake would be to get the fans back into the stadiums for them to be able to watch this live and really, really enjoy it. And it's just going to be so interesting to see how this team's going to develop over the season. Can they continue this form? Can they continue getting the results they're doing? I believe they can. We've got some players that the club have invested in that we've not seen yet. So that's exciting to see them players. Can they get into the first team? Can the manager keep putting out the same team with the same intensity? There's a few question marks, but they're good question marks. So the team's playing brilliant. It's good to watch. They're winning games. And the best thing is, I don't feel as though Southampton fear anyone. They go into the game thinking, we're going to win this game today. Let's not change how we play. We're not going to change our formation. We're going to keep playing on the front foot. We're going to play good football. We're going to try and create opportunities. If you score 1, we'll score 2. And I think that's brilliant to watch. You know, you're playing at the top level, the best league in the world, and Southampton not to have any fear and the players looking though they're enjoying it. I think it's brilliant. It's been a great start to the season and long may it continue.
Absolutely. Well, let's shift our focus on to next week now then, or this weekend rather, when we take on Manchester United. Adam, they seem to have stuttered somewhat so far this campaign, but they have got some big players in their ranks, so we shouldn't really underestimate the Red Devils.
Yeah, definitely not. They are definitely. I think the summary is absolutely fair there, Kenzie. They have stuttered for sure, but they've got quality. And any team that's got quality, you can never write them off. And especially a team that has a lot of quality in the final third, which Man United have. I still feel they're a bit disjointed under Solskjaer. They don't quite seem to really be able to get a lot of momentum at any period. It seems a bit stop-start all the time. There's an opportunity for Saints. Man United, I think, have got Champions League games either side of the Saints game. So they're going to have half an eye on those as well, and whether they can kind of name the same team, or whether if they do any sort of fatigue or tiredness takes hold from their game this midweek, we'll have to wait and see. But I think Dean hit the nail on the head just a minute ago, in that Saints, they just don't fear anybody. They won't fear playing Man United. That's not going to be a problem for them mentally, like it might have been in years gone by. I think they'll see it as another opportunity to get another win. I mean, Man United are as vulnerable as Man United ever can be, really. They've always got good players, but they are, as we've seen, beatable. So it will be a tough test again, I'm sure. It's going to be a difficult game. And Saints will have to play well, and they'll have to defend well, because Man United will have spells, and they've got the players that can punish you. But they are vulnerable. And the way that Saints are playing, they can get at them, I think. And that should give us a lot of confidence that Saints are going to be well in the game on Sunday and in with a good chance of getting a win.
What about you, Dean? What are you thinking for Sunday's game? Do you think this fearless Saints team can get a win over what Adam's calling a vulnerable Manchester United?
I think they definitely can, especially with the home form lately. And one compliment I think Southampton would get is that Man United will change their shape to play against them, and they do it. They are a team at the moment in transition, but a team that changes the way they play regarding the opposition they play. So I think they will do that for Southampton. Man United are not the Man United of old. They don't play with the same intensity as you would associate a Man United team do. They're very dangerous attack-wise. They've got some really, really top-class players, some world-class players, but they are vulnerable at the back. You know, they do make mistakes. They're not playing as a unit that you'd expect them to, and they've got that high expectation. They've got that pressure that Man United should still win every game, and that will be heavy on their shoulders. So, you know, Southampton have got every chance to exploit that, and Man United will be fully aware of that, and they will be worried about the attacking threats of Southampton. So, again, it will be a tough game because they are playing Man United, but I'd have every confidence that the team will go into that thinking, okay, again, like I said, we'll outscore you, because Man United will give you opportunities. So it'll be another good game, and I look forward to it.
Well, thank you very much, Dean and Adam, for your insight and analysis this evening. As said, next up it is Manchester United on Sunday. But tonight, Saints managed to leave the Wolves' den with a point and make their way back to the South Coast. We'll be back on Sunday afternoon for that game, so do have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you then.